Bow staff strike from baseball swing. Our goal here is to take something we already know, a baseball swing or a golf club swing, and convert it to something that we don't know, and that's going to be a side strike from a bow staff, giving us the opportunity to take what we already have, the knowledge that we already have, convert it to something new. This will make learning a lot easier. When we learn something new, it's a lot easier to do if we can build on the material that we already have. And that's what we'll do here. We'll take the baseball swing, we'll convert it, we'll adjust it to then apply to a bow staff, and that'll give us the comfort for us to make that adjustment and then be able to practice the bow staff by just practicing the new thing, the new alteration, the thing that's going to be different from a bow staff to something like a baseball swing, that being in essence the clearance of the back end of the bow staff as we swing the bow staff. The top of the staff will have green tape, the bottom will have red tape. We're going to use this staff and start off, and you're imagining it is a baseball bat. The green up top, that being where we hit the ball. The bottom at the base of the bat is where we grip. We're going to grip at the bottom. Here's our baseball swing. We've got the right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. This is our standard kind of baseball swing. If we turn to the side, now we are the pitcher, and we can imagine the base right in front, and we have our standard right-handed swing. We're at the bottom or base of the bat, and you're considering the bow staff at this time as a bat. Notice the swing as we go through. Notice the clearance at the bottom of the staff. It's not going to hit us, in other words. That's going to be the major difference later on. Here's our standard type of swing with a baseball bat. Notice we can do this with a bow staff as long as it's small enough. Now we're going to the pitcher would be up front. This is going to be our right-handed swing, so the base would be right up front. We can imagine the pitcher being out to the right of the screen, and we have our standard right-handed swing going out forward towards the pitcher to the right. Now we have basically the catcher's view. The pitcher would be straight out in front. Notice where the hands are, right hand on top. This is going to be our standard swing from this angle. Notice the clearance at the bottom of the staff. Once again, the staff not hitting us in the ribs. That's going to be the major difference. So now we're going to take this stance. We're going to convert it now to a more of a bow staff stance. So we've got our side stance here. Notice the clearance. That's the difference. So with a baseball swing, we're used to having that clearance. If you choked up on a bat and you had the end of the bat hit you before, it's not a pleasant experience if you're not expecting it. We're going to expect it now by moving our hands up on the bow staff. So now we're going to move our hands up, same stance, same grip. However, we're going to leave a little bit of space, and now we're choking up on the staff, as you'd say in baseball terms. We're choking up way up, kind of to the middle third, and we're separating our grip a little bit. So you can then hold it kind of like you would with a baseball bat, but as you come around, you'll see what it'll look like coming around. And it'll hit you then in the ribs. You want to make sure to have that elbow up, so when it hits you in the ribs, it's going to tuck underneath. You're expecting that to happen and therefore not following through, so it's not going to hit you hard. Although you do want to have something on, like a shirt on or something when you start this, so that you can get good at it until you get good at the snap towards the end of the strike. Your goal here is not really to follow through as much as have a nice snapping motion at the end. So rather than swinging through as you would with a baseball bat, you swing the wrists around to get that motion at the end, the bat speed. Now you're really looking at a whip type motion at the end of the strike, and you want to stop the strike at the end. The real power happens with a whipping type motion, almost pulling it back in a whipping type motion. Now we're going to do this angle. Note that the backhand is basically open a lot of the time as we whip it around, because you want to have that whipping format. The way you do that is you do not have a very firm grip at the backhand, and this time the right hand, because you want to allow that to give you that snap of the wrists at the end. You want to imagine basically you're stopping right at the end. That's the practice, that you're going to stop right at the end of that swing. Note, as you do this, you're just going to get used to what you know. This is something that you want to be careful of, not tucking your elbow in. Do not tuck your elbow in. That's going to be common because we're trying to protect our ribs there, but we know it's going to hit our ribs. We want to tuck it in. That can actually be damaging to the elbow. You don't want to hit your elbow like that. So we want to go under to the ribs, and it's not going to hit us hard once we get good at it, because we're going to snap around and stop with the end of the snap, and that's where the power comes from, not with the follow through, but with the snap at the end of the strike. Notice as you do this, you can get a nice little motion going, and that's going to be something that you can work out just in and of itself. Just as you get used to the bow staff, you can go through this motion, you can do it inside, you can watch TV as you're doing it, you can listen to music, and as you do it, you can get a rhythm going. If you're listening to music, notice how you get your hips basically going in on this and get a rhythm as you bring the bow staff around. Bring it back up, back around. You go back up to your stance, back around. You can get some rhythm and some format with this, and we'll talk about different rhythms later on that you can use to do this. But as you start out, just get the hips going in there. That gives you a bit of a cardio workout as you get used to the stance. Later on, we'll think of different angles that we can use to use the same kind of stance as we modify this stance further to the bow staff.